Well, it's finally happened, everyone. After 526 straight days of waiting, Glitch's brand new show has finally been released. The Gaslight District. And people are quite divisive around this show. The show is full of gross-out humor, hard-to-grasp concepts, and swearing, no less. In fact, throughout my watching of the pilot, I was thinking to myself, damn, this is not a show for everyone. This is clearly a show with a targeted demographic in mind, and whilst that might make the show a lot less appealing to the general market, it makes it a lot more enjoyable for people it's trying to appeal to, and I respect the hell out of this show for being able to do that. In fact, the same could be said for a good majority of these indie shows, but I could feel that a whole lot more with this one particularly. Anyways, actual video time. So, the Gaslight District. We've been waiting for this one for a while, haven't we? Ever since it was first shown off officially by Glitch in the 2023 Glitch X livestream, us Glitch diehards have been waiting for this one to come out for a while. And throughout that time, we essentially had nothing but a few Glitch employees on the Glitch Twitter saying, yup, it's happening, and nothing else. That was until a few weeks ago, but they started teasing it more and more, until a full-on trailer released, and now the pilot is finally up for you to watch on YouTube. And as mentioned before, people have been very mixed on it. I've seen as high as 10 out of 10s and as low as 2 out of 10s, and it's easy to see why, because, you know, targeted audience and all. So I suppose I'm here to answer the question on whether or not I like it, because we all know my opinion is the one that matters the most. So first of all, let us answer the question that everyone clicked on this video to know. Is the Gaslight District any good? Yes. Yes it is. At least in my opinion. But if I've learned anything from this show, it's that your opinion will always be different from mine. And I'm not sure how else I could segue into a compilation of different sections talking about different things on the show, so enjoy!
Whoa, nice graphic!
Okay, let's just immediately dive into the meat and potatoes here. Even if you're not a fan of the plot, character designs, or even the general look of the show, you can admit that the show is well animated. It's nice to see that big fat digital circus paycheck go into something, and boy does it show. You can really feel how stylized this feels, with the best comparison I can give being Spider-Verse, with all of its FPS switching, dynamic camera shots, and clean transitions. And when the best comparison I can give is damn Spider-Verse, that is a huge compliment. Sure, it's not as vibrant or as colourful as something like that, clearly going for something more moody, but I would say it's just as stylized. They even have the trademark SpongeBob close-up shots and even a Family Guy-esque cutaway, which actually made me laugh out loud. In short, this is a show with a lots of things that I can draw from previous shows. But that doesn't mean the show has its own unique things. The character designs are incredibly unique, and even though I've seen quite a bit of heat around them, I've never really had a problem with them, especially whilst in motion. Trust me, these character designs make a lot more sense whilst actually watching the show. My only real gripe with it is the fact that the show feels a bit too fluid. I know, that sounds bad, but really, since most of the time there was something interesting going on visually, it caused me to not be able to catch on to something that was happening with the dialogue. Now this is fixed with a couple of rewatches, but I think most episodes of a show should be digestible from just one watch. But that doesn't really take away from anything. This show is still a beauty to watch, in my opinion. As for the art direction, it's clearly stylized, I'll give it that. It's not my preferred look, I'm more of a man of saturated colours and vibrancy, and in this show we have a lot of harsh and dull greens with washed out colours. Don't get me wrong, I do see the vision, you know, with the world having ended and all, it would make sense for it to look like this. And I do think the colour palette works a lot of the time in certain shots, but for me, it just resulted in the whole show looking like some ultra stylized Five Nights at Freddy's 3 gameplay. But overall, animation is stunning, character designs are great in motion, and the colour palette is a little off for my tastes, but I do get why they did it. The palette clearly had intention and not just stylization for the sake of stylization.
It's like an interactive storybook, essentially, that likes to kick the shit out of you every now and again. It's like an abusive interactive...
The writing is generally good, but has a couple of flaws I'd like to point out. First of all, the best part is easily the character interactions, more specifically between the members of the Smiling Dead. You can really get that this is a family with a lot of experience together with their banter and just generally the way they talk to each other. The plot, whilst not really too original, is made interesting of the way they go about it. Now, I've reached the part where I go into detail about the plot like any other YouTuber, so, okay, quick synopsis. The world has ended and everyone is immortal because of crazy voodoo magic. In this world, there is a crime family. We follow Mel, the passenger princess of said crime family, who is secretly human and is cursed with black blood, which is prophesied to kill everyone or something. They come up with a crazy scheme to prove that she isn't human, they do it, end of pilot, okay, done.
It's like an interactive storybook, essentially.
As I said before, the plot isn't really too original. I can name a few examples of when, but I've got to prevent my peers from finding out who I truly am storyline being used before. But when it's put into this unique context and environment, I think it more than makes up for it. The characters are also great and have clearly defined personalities. I, for one, can't wait to see more of Mud. Although it did leave me wanting more, but that's probably a good thing. I also like the structure of the episodes, breaking it into chapters instead of just one long episode. I do like this setup as it not only makes it stand apart from other shows, but even gives it a storybook-esque feel, which is nice. The pacing is, like all glitch shows, really fast, but it sticks to being fast and isn't inconsistent, with each scene taking up about the expected amount of runtime. But this also leads us into another problem where things are going by so fast and you have all of this eye candy to look at, it's kinda hard to take in all of the story, and may require several rewatches to fully comprehend. Hey, I watched this at 11 PM at night during the premiere and didn't understand a single thing that was going on at the time, but after multiple rewatches, yeah.
Do you honestly think you're fucking funny fucking with my friends?
The voice acting is pretty sublime and is perfectly at the quality we expect from Glitch by now. The main protagonist, Mel, is voiced by Fitzy, who also did Sin and Murder Drones, but to be honest, a lot of the time felt like Fitzy was trying to do an Uzi impression. I don't know, I just kept hearing Uzi in her voice, but that kind of voice fits in with the character, so I'll give it a pass. It also feels like a bit of Sin creeps into her voice every now and then, which, you know, yeah. And also, Michael Kovac is in this show. Haha, good on you, Michael. Wouldn't be an indie show without ya. Also, Ken kind of sounds like Heavy TF2 or something, I don't know, I don't have a lot to say in this section.
Connection terminated. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Elizabeth. If you still even remember that name.
Overall, I'm proud to say that the Gaslight District is something that I'm now truly invested in, and is a fun time with gorgeous animation, fun character interactions, and sublime voice acting. It's now my second favorite Glitch show. Oh, by the way, here's the tier list. Now, your opinion is always going to be different from mine, so if you haven't watched it yet, do yourself a favor and do some. It's some great stuff, and even if it's not for you, at least now you know, so you can avoid future episodes. I would also like to take a moment to announce that I now have a Ko-Fi page. I'll talk more about it in future videos, but essentially I'll be posting behind the scenes stuff there as well as exclusive content in the future. So if you happen to have some change that you could toss my way, that's the place to go. Seriously, it means the world to me. Right, I'm out of things to say, so bye! Oh yeah, by the way, this says wanker on it. Yeah.